Hi there and welcome to the daily recap show for Friday's European session, which was Friday the 7th of October, starting with the FTSE as always. These were the zones of reference that we had in our report, and we said that we had NFP at 130, so I was only going to be cautiously trading the morning session. We said we had aggressive resistance at 6997 to 7007, and if we held below here and got a sustained break of the support at 6961, 6971, we could see further downside. So let's go and have a look at the FTSE from Friday. Okay, so you can sort of see, even just straight off this price action, it was a fairly choppy session on Friday, and this is sort of like normally expected from NFP. So we had the open here. We took out the liquidity first from the overnight lows and pushed higher. Really strong impulsive candle there, but you really wouldn't want to take that into the aggressive resistance zone. Aggressive resistance, there is a reversal here, which would have failed, would have been triggered in and failed, and just taken out that liquidity, and then came down here. It was an aggressive resistance, and like I said, I was cautiously trading the session. We had a bit of it was fairly neutral. The overall higher term bias is still bearish. The medium term on the sort of like hourly is sort of neutral bullish, so it's a bit of a tricky one at the moment, especially with NFP on Friday as well. It was always going to be a very tricky session to trade, and you can see we just chopped about here again. So just from a bit of a pattern recognition point of view, we got this sort of move up here above the initial resistance, pull back. We've got a continuation here. That's a nice trade there. We then got another pullback, second retest here with a reversal to move on up. And then as we noted, that NFP, really difficult to trade sometimes these when the numbers are off, and you've got this really strong spike down here. But notice that even in the afternoon session, the 69, 61, 69, 71 zone held, and you can sort of see here we've got the sort of double bottom. We've got another sort of liquidity grab of that zone there, of the lows of the day. So a couple of opportunities really there to take along from that support zone. I wasn't trading the afternoon session, so it wasn't something I was looking at. But if you had been around, once the numbers were out the way, those were two valid trades. And if you'd taken those ones from the aggressive resistance in the morning, you probably would have had one loser, one winner. And then, like I say, the retest here offered a couple of opportunities as well. So all in, I wouldn't say there's anything super high probability there, but just a few things a few opportunities that were there. You can notice that couple of the price action was quite choppy, but overall still not a few opportunities to be had, and the zones work quite well. So that was the FTSE. Now let's go and take a look at the DAX. Okay, so these were the zones of reference that we had on the DAX on Friday, and again we sort of mentioned the NFP issue around it was at 130. We said initial resistance was at 12,445 to 12,480, and we talked about what we would happen if we got a sustained break above there. We said if we got a sustained break below support 12,390 to 415, we could see moves initially to 12,300 to 325, and then further support 12,175 to 12,200. We also said it breaks below 12,390 to 415. Could be setting up higher time frame continuation though, so any impulsive to the moves to the downside, and we should really only be focusing on sells. So let's go and have a look at the DAX. Okay, so the DAX, we said that the initial resistance was at 455 to 480, and notice how we didn't get any form of acceptance above there. Although maybe this zone may have just been sort of about 10 points out. It looks like we're going to have to adjust the zone slightly higher, but that was the resistance zone. No real acceptance above there, and we got this really strong impulsive push down on the numbers. Notice also that the 390 to 415 zone was holding it as support at the open here. So that was an opportunity to get long. Actually, that's not a bad signal there. Not one that I actually took or looked at actually, but in hindsight, that's quite a nice candle there. Would have been better if we'd just taken out that liquidity grab just below there, like we did on the FTSE, but we didn't see that. That would have been a nice trade actually, but didn't set up, and I didn't see it actually in real time. And then, like I say, this couldn't get any real acceptance above. Very, very choppy. Got the strong push down. Notice here, so we got the push down below there, and we said that below that zone we could be set up a continuation, and we should be looking for shorts only. Again, this happened in the US session, or in the afternoon session, so it wasn't around, but that's a really nice continuation pattern. We've had the really strong push down through, pull back continuation of that zone on the retest. A really, really nice trade there. we saw the initial move to the 300, 325 zone that we mentioned, and overnight, or sort of into the US session, we did actually see a move down to that 175 to 220 zone of support just towards the end of the US session. So we'll assess where we are in the markets overnight. DAX certainly looking a little bit weaker than the FTSE. We've set up those sort of potential continuation patterns on the DAX, so we'll have to wait and see what happens overnight. We'll update in the morning, but a really, really nice trade there on the DAX in the afternoon session after the numbers are out. When these numbers come out, you want to probably leave it about half an hour for the market to settle and then sort of start looking at the markets again. That's probably a good gauge, but you can see obviously there's quite a lot of volatility in that sort of like 10-15 minutes after the numbers were released. So that's just a little tip when trading around these numbers, or if you still wanted to trade, before these numbers you can see quite a lot of chop, and then when these numbers break you want to just give it sort of like probably about half an hour just to sort of settle the market back down again. So I hope you found these reports useful. Please let me know how you're finding them. Hope they're adding value to your trading. Come subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. Also, please join the Keyzone service. It's completely free at the moment, and you get to join the Keyzone Traders community. It'd be great to have you there, and you'll receive these reports before the markets open. So I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you had a profitable week trading, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.